Hey everybody, Jake here for Extreme Terrain, and in this video we're taking a look at the MBRP Armor Pro single turn down exhaust system fitting 2020 and newer 3.6 liter JT Gladiators. This is a perfect setup for the Gladiator owner who wants more performance, more ground clearance, and an aggressive sound. MBRP does that combination quite well, and it's made all the better by the fact that this is one of the most affordable T304 stainless catbacks on the market for the JT. It's possibly one of the loudest as well, and accordingly we're going to give this a strong 4 out of 5 on our loudness meter. It's definitely a huge departure from the nearly silent factory system, and one that will make pretty much anyone take note of it right away. I would say that MBRP's bread and butter are the Armor Pro systems because they give you some of the best sound and best material quality you can get for your money. This system is of course no exception. This is a full 2.5-inch catback that picks up right after your factory catalytic converters, keeping all of that intact. But it does away with the multiple resonators and that huge suitcase style muffler in the middle of your stock system, leaving you with just this singular canister style muffler. Now MBRP describes this thing as straight through, and as you can see in here, it's pretty accurate. This is, after all, MBRP's race profile, hence that good bit of volume. But it's not just about the volume. Now, as you heard from the clips at the beginning of the video, this lets the Pentastar sing loud and proud, and it's actually got a much deeper tone than what you might expect out of a 6-cylinder. It's rumbly, it's deep, it's got a nice baritone grumble to it. And it somehow seems to even get a bit deeper in tone as you run up through the revs, which is unusual because that doesn't typically happen when you slap an exhaust on a V6. Now inside of the cabin, of course, this is going to be noticeably louder than your factory system. It's always there, and if you like hearing your exhaust, you're probably going to like this setup. Just plan on having to speak up a bit or turn up the volume on your radio, though it is a bit more tolerable inside thanks to the exit setup. And that is the other big reason to consider this system. It is a high clearance exhaust. There is no separate tip, just this little turn down right here. And since this does include an overaxle pipe, that puts the actual exit of the exhaust further away from you, so it's gonna help keep the volume in cabin a bit more in check. This gives you more clearance over the axle than your stock system, and it tucks way up in the back above the line of your frame, so it's not gonna catch on anything when you're out hitting the trails, even if you happen to catch the rear end of the truck on something. MBRP's Armor Pro exhausts are made using T304 stainless steel. This one is a mandrel bent 2.5-inch diameter all the way back. The muffler is also fully MIG welded, so overall this is a pretty solid system. T304 is about the best material you can get, and it's going to provide you with lots of protection against corrosion and rust. So if you live in an area where there is, well, weather, like we do here in the Northeast, you're going to appreciate the extra peace of mind that this will provide. This is also going to be a little bit lighter than your stock system too, because again, you're doing away with those excess resonators and that gigantic muffler. This thing really doesn't weigh all that much. I'm not all that strong, and I can easily toss this thing, pick it up with a couple of fingers. So a little bit of weight savings is going to be a good thing too, because that means you can add a little bit of additional gear if you're going to do some overlanding. Pricing for this one comes in at about $700. And while that's not the least expensive exhaust choice for the Gladiator overall, it is about the most affordable T304 stainless system on the market. And with how good this sounds, plus the build and material quality, you really can't argue with it for that price. Installation gets a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and the job should take you around 2 hours to complete. This is a totally bolt-on system. It's going to utilize all your factory exhaust hanger locations, and it comes with all the clamps you need to get it installed too. No modifications are needed. Everything is just going to bolt right up, so this is something that you can easily tackle at home in your driveway or garage. With that, let's head on out to the shop and we'll walk you through that install process right now.
For this install, you need a 3/8 impact and ratchet, an 18, 15, 13, and 10mm socket, an exhaust hanger tool, and also not shown via lift and pull jack. All right, today we're gonna be installing an exhaust on our Gladiator. First, we're gonna watch a quick video how to uninstall a stock exhaust, then we'll come back here to install a new one.
Okay guys, first step obviously is we're gonna have to remove our factory exhaust. Now we have our Gladiator up on a lift to give you guys some better angles to show you exactly what we're doing underneath the Jeep. And the way we're gonna do this is gonna preserve our factory exhaust. If you don't care about your factory exhaust, it might be easier just to cut it off, but we're gonna show you how to get this off while preserving the piping. So let's go ahead and get started. All right guys, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove the skid plate here, and that's so we can drop the front end of the exhaust down. It'll make it a little bit easier to kind of work its way out. The factory exhaust is basically one piece from the Y pipe all the way back to the tailpipe. So what we're first going to do is we have a 13 mil bolt or a nut right here we're going to remove, and then we have 4 18 millimeter bolts here and then 2 up front here that we're going to remove, and that'll let us get the skid plate down. All right, like I said, guys, that one we just did was a 13 millimeter, and the next 4 are all going to be 18 millimeter sockets you're going to need. All right, guys, now before I do the front 2, make sure you're supporting it with your hand, because once you loosen these, the skid plate's going to want to drop on you. All right, guys, now this point back is what we're going to be removing. So this clamp here we're going to loosen. You're going to need a 13 mil socket for this ball clamp. Now, unlike a regular flat clamp, these ball clamps have a kind of a curved edge that kind of cup around the end of the flange here, so you have to loosen it quite a bit in order to slide this out eventually. So we have that pretty good loose, so we're going to move to the next step. All right, guys, now we're going to pull back on this lock tab. This is just kind of to prevent the clamp from sliding at all. So just get a screwdriver in there, pull that back. All right, guys, now we're right near the tailpipe, and this is the rearmost hanger. We're going to remove this bracket because it is the one bracket that is pointing in an opposite direction from the other hangers further forward on the exhaust. I'm going to use a 13 mil socket on these 2 bolts as well. All right, guys, now just to get it out of our way, we're gonna pull this hanger off. You're gonna have to pull it out a little bit and rotate it down. There's this little tab right here that hooks into the frame rail, so you need to get it away from there. You should be able to just pull this out like that. All right, guys, now go ahead and assemble a tool that comes with your Jeep. We're going to lower our spare tire, get that out of the way, and then also remove the spare tire guard to finish getting out our exhaust pipe. Now, this tool basically goes into a plastic sleeve that's behind the bumper here. Once you get that in, you can't twist it by hand, then you know you're on the, it's kind of like a bolt back in there that the end of this tool goes on, and we're gonna use this just like a socket wrench. And then the lug wrench here has a square opening in it, put that in the end here. All right, with a bunch of slack let out, guys, you don't want to drop it all the way to the ground. You want to be able to get a hand underneath your tire. Lift your tire up. And there's a black bracket the tire rests on. Slide it up the cable and get it through the lug hole. All right, guys, now to remove the heat shield that protects our spare tire, you're gonna have 5 bolts. They're all 10 millimeter. There's 3 up here that are gonna be very hard, if not impossible for you guys to see on camera here, but we're gonna take those 3 out first. All right, and then we have the last two right here, again, 10 millimeter. All right guys, now at this step, we only have two hangers that are holding our exhaust pipe up, and they are both pointing towards the front, which means with the help of my friend back here, we're gonna slide the entire pipe backwards out of these two hangers and then drop it down and actually pull it forward to clear the rear axle.
Now that we have our factory exhaust off, we just need to take off our rear hanger on our back muffler here. So we're just gonna grab our exhaust hanger tool and pop that off. We can go ahead and just get this mounted back up onto the truck. So we're gonna start with our front pipe here. We already have our factory clamp there. We're gonna slide this over and slide our clamp over. Now I'm just gonna grab my ratchet and 13 millimeter socket and just snug this up just so it doesn't fall. All right, next we can get our muffler on. Next, we're gonna get our muffler on. Now, your muffler is directional, so you wanna make sure that you orient it the correct way. You'll look inside, and you can see the actual fins of the muffler. You wanna orient it so that it is catching the air. So another indication would be you actually just read the logo properly. So we got our 2.5 inch clamp over our muffler. We're just gonna slide that into our front pipe. Now we have a pull jack here just resting to keep everything held up in place so we get a hanger on. So we're gonna put another one of our 2.5 inch clamps on the back of our muffler, grab our extension pipe, and we're gonna go into the muffler and the hanger here at the same time. So next we have our over the axle pipe. We have our clamp already over it. We're gonna do the same thing as the last one. It's gonna go into our hanger back here and our pipe at the same time. Slide that all the way in. Lastly, we just have our tailpipe. We have our last clamp over here. Now we have our hanger that we took off our stock system. Just gonna slide that over. Slide that over in the axle pipe. I'm sorry, over the axle pipe. Then we can come back and mount this hanger up. We got our hanger here. We're gonna flip that up and go to our two factory spots in our frame here. Grab our two 13 millimeter bolts and get them started. Grab your ratchet and 13 millimeter socket and tighten those two down. So we're gonna come up starting at the front of our exhaust and tighten everything down. So we have our factory clamp here. So we have our impact and 13 millimeter socket. Then we're gonna switch to a 15 millimeter socket and tighten down our first aftermarket clamp here. While we're up here, we're gonna reinstall our factory guard. So we'll get that back in location and thread in our bolts. Get enough started to hold it in place. Other two over here, our one 13 millimeter. So we'll grab our impact and we'll start with our 13 millimeter socket here, tighten that down. And then everything else is an 18 millimeter socket. Next, we're gonna come back and continue on with our aftermarket clamps. So we have one after our muffler and one going to the over the axle pipe. Same thing, impact and 15 millimeter socket. All right, one more clamp. Lastly, we just have our clamp for our tailpipe. So let's tighten that down. Now we can reinstall our heat shield. Now we have our two nuts that are going, our two studs here. We're missing our one bolt that we took out of here, but you would reinstall that. And then we have our two bolts here and here. To get this back up in location, we can thread in our two bolts. Go ahead and grab our ratchet 10 millimeter socket, tighten those two down. Then we can put our nuts on the back of our studs. Now it's gonna be pretty hard to see, but it's the same place that you took them off of. All right, now lastly, we just have to put our spare tire back up and we're good to go. So we'll get our spare tire mount back through our wheel. And we can get that jack back up in our truck. Now we'll just get our factory tool back in. and then crank that tire up. And that wraps up our install of our MBRP Armor Pro single exhaust system with a turn down for a 2020 and newer 3.6 liter Jeep Gladiator JT. And remember, for everything Jeep, keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.